Hi, welcome everyone to another lecture of the subject control system. In previous video, I discussed about block diagram reduction technique, and then we have taken one example of complex block diagram, and then we reduce that block diagram into some simpler one. Now, the main objective of block diagram reduction technique is actually we need a single transfer function of the overall system to analyze the system. Okay, but what is block diagram basically representing? Block diagram basically representing the total system using some individual transfer functions as a blocks and interconnection between them. So based on the individual transfer function and the interconnection between them, we actually use the reduction technique to convert those total thing to a single block or a single transfer function in order to make them convenient for us to analyze. Now, as you have seen in the previous video that reduction of transfer function is actually not efficient. By efficient, I want to say that it is so much time consuming actually, as you have understood from the previous lecture. And again, which step is to be done first and which step is not to be done first in order to make the thing simpler, that needs a lot more experience. So there is no hard and fast rule that how I am going to reduce the transfer function into a simpler one. That's why always block diagram reduction technique is always not used, whereas we use this concept of signal flow graph. In short, it is called SFG. What is signal flow graph? Signal flow graph is another technique of representation of a complex block diagram or a complex system with the help of some signal lines. It is like it is kind of the diagram looks like some diagram from graph theory, but it is not deep into graph theory, but the representation would be like that. Okay, so how we represent signal flow graph of any system? First of all, we convert in the design process of any control system or any kind of designing system. In the design process, the first and foremost thing is to define the objective of the system, and based on that objective, we need to shortlist what kind of components we are going to use and how those components will be interconnected, and based on that we design first the block diagram of the transfer function. Block diagram is the first process of the designing step. Now, after making the block diagram, after designing the total block diagram, we actually, if we need to analyze the system, then we actually reduce that block diagram into simpler one, and in order to reduce that block diagram into simpler one, we often use signal flow graph. First, block diagram will be converted into signal flow graph. So let me first discuss how a block diagram can be converted into SFG, signal flow graph. Each block having some transfer function g or some gain g, this will be represented by some signal lines between two nodes, and it will be represented by some path, and this path will be having gain g. And if there is some summing block or summing point, that point will be represented by a node, a simple node. Okay, if there is some takeoff point, that will be again represented by some node. So if I have a block diagram like this, if I have, and again input and output, those are itself will be converted into nodes. Okay, so if I have some block diagram like this, the block will be represented by some path having gain g, and this is input, so input will be represented by some node, and this will be output, and it will be output node. Okay, so signal flow graph of this block diagram is like this. Now let us do a bit complex thing, like if I'm erasing this one, so a block will be represented by a path, a summing point or a takeoff point, or input and output will be represented by nodes. Okay. So let us take a block diagram like this, a simple closed loop block diagram with negative feedback. Look, there are two blocks, so there must be two paths. Apart from that, if there is no blocks connected between two nodes, like this input node, this input will be a node, and this summing point will be also considered as a node. So between these two nodes there is no blocks connected. So that gain of that block, that means it is not a block, so it will be represented by path itself, but the gain of that path will be 1. If there is some block, the gain of that path will be the transfer function same as the block, and if there is no blocks, then the transfer function then the gain of the path will be 1 itself. So how many nodes it will have? One input node, one summing point, number 3 one takeoff point, number 4 one output node. So let us first draw the nodes 1, 2, 3, 4, as it has 4 nodes. Now look, between 1 and 2 there is no blocks connected, so between 1 and 2 and the path, look at the arrow, so the path will flow from, the signal will flow from 1 to 2, and there is no block there, so it will have gain 1. If it is not mentioned, you need to consider this to be 1. Okay, between 2 and 3 there is connected one block G, and again between 2 and 3 itself there is connected one block H. So now this G is in the forward path and this H is in the reverse path. So let us first draw the forward path things. So from 2 to 3 there will be another signal path that will be flowing from 2 to 3 forward path, and the gain of this forward path will be the gain of the block as well. It will be G. Now 3 to 4 there is again no blocks connected, so it will be having 1, and now this number 1 block will be R, number 1 node, and number 4 node will be C. Again from 3 to 2 there is another path which is feeding back from 3 to 2, and this will be having gain H, but look here, this H is going to this summing block, and in this summing block this sign is here negative because it is a negative feedback. That's why this negative sign will appear as the gain of the, that means it would be similar if I consider this to be plus and this to be minus. If minus H is feeding back as a positive feedback, or plus H is feeding back as a negative feedback, both are same. That's why this will be considered as H, because the nodes will not be considered as summing point, or there will not be any you may call it signs, there will not be any signs there in the nodes. But what will this sign affect? This sign will affect the gain of that path. Now what is this different kind of thing? That means if one node is incoming and another one signal path is incoming to a node and another signal path is outgoing towards node, and there is nothing other than this, so if this carries X, then the output will also carry X. Okay, now if instead of X this carry X1 and there is another node coming as input to this, it carry x2, then it will be summation of x1 plus x2. Now again, if it is carrying x1 and one taking of point is there, then it will carry x1, and again this will carry x1 itself, and this line will also carry x1 itself. Okay. That means, look here, if this carry x, then this point will also carry x, this line will also carry x. So if this carry x, this line will, if this carry x, then this line will also carry x, this line will also carry x. So if this line carries x, then this line will also carry x, and this line will also carry x. This is the case. Okay. If there are two incoming nodes, those nodes will be added together, and if there is outgoing nodes, then it will be same as incoming. This is incoming. It is not like current flowing through any node. It is not like that. Then if it was like that, it is kind of current flowing through a node, and you will use KCL kind of thing, then it would be x1 by 2 and x2 by 2, but that is not the case. Okay, remember, that is not the case. So now again, if I represent this thing x1 x2 and it is as y equals to x1 plus x2, isn't it? So I can replace this, as I just said, using this kind of thing, a node x1 x2, and this will be x1 plus x2. So now if here, instead of being positive, if here it is negative, then I can call it, then the output will be x1 minus x2. So I cannot change the sign here, so I can change the sign here itself, x2, then it will be like x1 minus x2. That's why for negative feedback system this negation is done. So we actually don't generate some feedback network having transfer function having gain value as negative. We always generate it as positive, but what we do is we make the summing point to be negative. We use a comparator here, and for comparator one input is negated. Now to analyze this in signal flow graph domain, we will consider this to be negative for negative feedback system. Now any block diagram can be represented in terms of signal flow graph. Let us discuss another one. Let me first discuss how to convert a block diagram into a signal flow graph. Then how to reduce that using signal flow graph or Mason's gain formula, that will be discussed a bit later. So let us discuss another block diagram. Let's say G1, G2 is there, some okay. Let us say this is the case here. So again I can denote this input as one node, this number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again 1 to 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 1 to 2 there is nothing connected, so it will be having 1 as again. From 2 to 3, there is G1. From 3 to 4 there is G2. From 4 to 5 there is nothing, so it will be 1. Again from 2 to 3 again there is another path which is G3 and it is added, so 2 to 3 there is another path G3 and it is added, that's why no negation is done. But here look, 4 to 3 there is another path 4 to 3, but the negation is being done here, that's why it will be minus H1. Again focus on this summing block. Okay, this summing block is like this, some positive signal, and some negative one, and from that some output is, if it is x1, if it is x2, if it is x3, then it will be x1 plus this value will be x1 plus x2 minus x3. So if I convert this to a node, then there will be some line, there will be another, and there will be another, and this will be the output. So if it is carrying x1, if it is carrying x2, and if it is carrying minus x3, then it will be x1 plus x2 minus x3. So this can be represented by this. Okay. Now again, in block diagram reduction technique, I said that you can make this summing point, you can break this summing point into two parts like this. It will be like this, something x1, some line is carrying x2, this will be added, and then the output will be x1 plus x2, this will be added to another x3, this will be subtracted, x3 will be subtracted from this. So the output will be x1 plus x2 plus x3. Now what will happen if I convert this portion and this portion as individual nodes? Now look here, this is x1, this is x2, and again this is minus x3, this is x1, look, it is x1, it is x2, again it is x1, it is x2, so it is minus x3, so it will be x1 plus x2, and it will be x1 plus x2 minus x3. So this node can be converted, this node can be broken into two parts. So let me draw the signal flow graph again. 1, 2. Now instead of 5 nodes, I will be having 6 nodes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. From 1 to 2 there is nothing, 1. From 2 to 3 there is G1. From 3 to 4 there is actually G2, but this 4 is not this 4, this 4 is this 5. So it will be G2, and 5 to 6 it will be 1 again. So what will be there between them? It will be 1 only. And why this is like this? Because from 2 to 3 there will be G3, from 4 to 3, that means from 5 to 4 there is minus H1. Now if you calculate the actually if you calculate the single transfer function for this signal flow graph and for this signal flow graph, that will be not that will be same itself, there will be no problem. But sometimes it may happen that sometimes among students some confusion may arise, is that for there are a concept like non-touching loop, touching loops. That's why sometimes it may happen that those are not coming same, both of them are not coming same. That's because we actually do some kind of mistakes there in order to analyze the system properly. We actually do some kind of mistakes as a student, I am saying. So to avoid those kind of mistakes, and actually people couldn't find where the mistake is, what exactly the mistake is, student couldn't find. That's why I am suggesting you, whenever you are converting any block diagram into signal flow graph, don't don't break this summing point or any tapping point into parts. Don't break that, because if you break that, then only confusion arises, otherwise there will be no confusion. And again, if you don't break this summing point into two parts, then it may happen that during block diagram reduction you are facing trouble. But in case of signal flow graph, if you break this or if you don't break this, there will be absolutely no problem. If you don't break this, there will be no problem. You can easily analyze and easily you can obtain the transfer function, obtain the overall transfer function. So my suggestion is, you better do not break this summing point in case of exam or in case of any problem solving. Okay, because that will not you will not face any problem if there is some nodes having this much of line. That is not a problem. So if you break this line, sometimes it may happen that some confusion may arise. Again, sometimes it may be smooth process, because in this problem there will be no confusion if you break or not. But there can be some problems that those problems will framed like that, you will face some problem, you will face some confusion. So to avoid those confusions, better copy the block diagram itself and convert the blocks into path, convert the lines into path, convert the points, the tapping point or the takeoff point or the summing point and the output and input point as nodes. Just do this kind of thing and then use the formula. That will be a lot more easier and there will be no confusion. Okay, so now let's discuss about the formula. I'm continuously telling you that there is some formula based on which you can easily calculate the overall transfer function. So what is that formula? That formula is named as Mason's gain formula. Okay, Mason's gain formula. This formula is, initially it is hard to actually memorize or hard to understand, but after a couple of examples it will be a lot more easier for you. Okay, let us discuss one signal flow graph here. Okay, one thing again. Let's say this is the SFG you have. Okay, Now let us do some, let us give you some values. 3 is 1, 1, 1, 1. Let us h1, h2, maybe h3. Okay. So let us say you have this kind of SFG. So how you are going to convert this SFG into simpler one, and the overall transfer function, how you are going to get that. So that simple thing is, first I am writing down the formula. The Mason's-Gain formula is like that. There is a term called delta. What is this delta? Delta is 1 minus summation, let us call it sum of individual loop gain. What is individual loop gain? Denote where are the loops. This one is a loop, again this one is a loop, this one is a loop, and again this one is a loop. Okay, what is a loop? The starting point of the loop and the ending point of the loop will be having same node. Okay, this cannot be considered as a loop, okay, because the starting point is here and the ending point is here, but this can be considered as a loop. This can be considered as a loop. Okay, so sum of individual loop gain plus sum of product of all possible combinations of two non-touching loop gain. I hope this is not clear for you, because this cannot be clear for you by this single line. Okay, what is sum of product of all possible combination of two non-touching loops, loop gain? Acha. Okay, first let me give you idea what is loop gain. We have said this is one individual loop, this one is one individual loop, this one is one individual loop, this one is one individual loop. So what are the loop gain? Loop gain is the path gain of the total loop. Look, for this loop, what is the loop gain? G2 minus H3, that means minus G2 H3 is the loop gain. For this loop gain, G1 minus H1, okay, so minus G1 H1 is the loop gain. For this one, G1 minus H2, that means minus G1 H2 is a loop gain. For this loop, G3 minus H2, that means minus G3 H2 is the loop gain. So sum of individual loop gain means minus G2 H3 minus G2 H3 minus G1 H1 minus G1 H2 minus G3 H2. Okay, sum of individual loop gains. Again plus sum of product of all possible combination of two non-touching loop gains. That means first let's understand what is two non-touching loop gains. As the thing suggests, you need to consider any two loops, those are non-touching to each other. How you are going to take non-touching? Non-touching loops are those loops who doesn't have a common node or a common path. Like if this loop is taken and this loop is taken, these two loops are non-touching loops. Let me first identify the loop. This is, let us call it as L1, let us call it as L2, let us call this one as L3, and let us call this total one as L4. Okay, so what is L2? L2 is G1 H1 minus G1 H1. What is L1? Minus G2 H3. What is L3? Minus G1H2. What is L4? Minus G3H2. I hope it is clear. So now L1 and L2, both L1 and L2 don't have a common node, because L1 have this node, L2 have this node, this node. So these nodes are different. So this L1 and L2, again there is no common path. This path and this path is not common. This path and this path is not common. There is no common path. These two loops are separate. So you can consider these two loops as non-touching loops. Again, you need to understand all possible combination of two non-touching loop gains. All possible combination of two non-touching loop gain. What is all possible combination? Let's say L1 and L2 are two non-touching loop, that is a combination. Let me write it, L1, L2 is a combination. Again, L1 is non-touching to L3 as well, because L3 has this path and these nodes. L1 doesn't have those nodes. So L1, L3 is again a combination of two non-touching loops. L1 and L4 is also a combination of non-touching loops. Okay. Now L2 and L3, look about L2 and L3. Look, L2 is having this node, and L3 is having this node, this node. So there are common two nodes. These nodes are shared by L2 and L3. So L2, L3 are not in the combination. Okay. Now L2 and L4. Look, L2 have these two nodes and L4 have these two nodes. L2 have this path and this path. L4 doesn't have this path. L4 is having this path and this path. So L2 and L4 are in combination. They are non-touching. L2 and L4 are non-touching. Now what about L3 and L4? Look, L3 is having these nodes and L4 having these nodes. So L3 and L4 are touching loops. They are touching each other. So L1, L2 non-touching, L1, L3 non-touching, L1, L4 non-touching, L2, L3 touching, L2, L4 non-touching, and L3, L4 touching again. So I have four possible combination of two non-touching loops. So sum of the product of all possible combinations of two non-touching loop gains. That means I have approached to this portion, all possible combinations of two non-touching loops, two loops, one loop, two loop, one loop, two loop. Okay, so two non-touching loops, all possible combination of that in the signal flow graph. Next, let us discuss product of all possible combination of two non-touching loops. What is product? So product of all touching loop gain. So what is the loop gain of L1? G2H3 minus G2H3. What is the product loop gain? And L1 is, let us call L1 to be the G2H3, the product the loop gain. L2 is minus G1 H1, L3 is minus G1 H2, L4 is minus G3 H2. So these are the loop gains, L1, L2, L3, L4. L1 is the loop gain for loop 1, L2 is the loop gain for L2. Okay, so product of two non-touching, that means L1, L2 is non-touching. Find the product of L1 and L2. Minus minus plus G1, G2, H1, H3. L1 and L3, all possible combinations. So L1 into L2, L1 into L3, L1 into L4, L2 into L4. These are product of all possible combinations of two non-touching loop gains. So I have L2, L4, L1, L2, L1, L3, L1, L4. product of all possible combinations of two non-touching loop gains. Now again sum of these products, sum of the product of all possible combinations of two non-touching loop gains, that means sum of these products L2 L4 plus L1 L2 plus L1 L3 plus L1 L4. That means first identify the individual loops, then identify which two loops are non-touching, which two loops are non-touching. Consider all the possible combinations of two loops, those are non-touching. Then find the product of those individual non-touching loop pairs, okay. Then find the sum of those products. This is sum of products of all possible combinations of two non-touching loop gains. Now here is not the end, here is not the end, there are another term and there are n number of terms, there are n number of terms, okay. What are these terms? So the first term was 1, first term was 1, second term was minus sum of individual loop gain. There was L1, sum of individual loop gains mean L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus L4. Sum of product of all possible combinations of two non-touching loop gains. That means L1 L2 plus L1 L3 plus L1 L4 plus L2 L4. Notice here, always this will not be L1 L2 L1 L3. Here we have L1 and L2 non-touching, that's why L1 L2 is there, okay. I hope this is clear. Now the next term will be same thing but with a negative sign. Look, one will be positive, then negative, then again positive, then again negative, and then again positive, and so on, okay. So next term will be sum of products of all possible combinations of three non-touching loop gains. Sum of products of all possible combinations of three non-touching loop gains. The same thing we analyze that L1, L2 are touching or not. Now we need to analyze L1, L2, L3 are touching or not. Look here, L2 and L3 are touching, so that combination will not be valid. L1, L2, L4 is touching or not. L4 and L2 is not touching, L1 is not touching to L2, not touching to L4. So L1, L2, L4 is one possible combination, L1, L2, L4, and we need to find the product L1 into L2 into L4. Then the sum of all possible, that means plus something, plus the another combination. What is another combination? Look, L1, L2, L4 is done, L1, L4, L3, L4, L3 is touching because L4 and L3 has having same nodes, same two nodes. Again L2, L4, L3 is also touching because L4, L3 is touching, so there is nothing. Only one possible combination is there, so summation of one product of one possible combination. Like this, there will be plus sum of product of all possible combinations of four non-touching loops, then again minus sum of products of all possible combinations of five non-touching loop gains. Okay, I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. This value is delta. So what is delta? Delta is 1 minus sum of all individual loop gains plus sum of all sum of products of all possible combinations of two non-touching loop gains minus sum of products of all possible combinations of three non-touching loop gains plus sum of products of all possible combinations of four non-touching loop gains, and so on. Okay, but for our purpose of exam or something like that, we don't have to analyze for three non-touching or four non-touching loops. Look, this system here, we have three non-touching loops but the combination is one. So as the three non-touching loop combination is only one, there must not be any combination that will consist four loops which are non-touching each other. because these 4 loops, there are only one combination of 4 loops, but that 4 loops are not non-touching. Sorry, that 4 loops are touching themselves. That means all the loops, that means L1 is not touching, but L4 and L3 is touching, L2 and L3 is touching. So that's why L1, L2, L3, L4, 4 non-touching loops will not be taken into consideration. Okay, so this is delta. So what is the formula? The formula is P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2 plus so on by delta. Now what is P1? P1 is the forward path gain, P1, P2, P3. How many forward path gains are there in this loop, in this signal flow graph? There are only 2 forward path gains. I'm mentioning which one is. This one, forward path gain, will be those path gain which that path the signal flows from input towards output without any repetition of node. If there is repetition of node, then there must be a loop. That means from this node it is traveling, this node, again following the arrow, this node, again this node, again this node, again this node, again this node, and again this node. It reaches to the output from the input side to output, and no nodes are being traveled twice. Okay, there is no repetition of node. So this is a forward path. So what is P1? The forward path gain will be, what is P1? The forward path gain will be 1 into 1 into G1 into 1 into 1 into G2. That means G1 into G2. This is forward path gain. Now there is another path gain, another forward path. Look, it can go in this side and again like this, input to output, without any repetition of nodes. So this will also be considered as a forward path gain. So P2, let us name it second path gain, P2. What is the P2 value? G3 and G2. G2, G3. Okay. So is there any other path, forward path? Look, there is no other forward path. So this will be P1 delta 1, so plus P2 delta 2, and the rest will be zeros. Okay. Now again, what will be delta 1? Delta 1, now delta is this delta. Okay, the new denominator delta is this delta. So what is delta 1? Delta 1 will be this delta provided those loops which we will consider will not touch the forward path as well. I hope you have got it. That means delta 1, let us call P1, G1, G2 is the forward path gain of path number is 1. Let us call it path number 1. Okay. Now what will be delta 1? Delta 1 will be 1, same as delta 1 minus sum of individual loop gain, but those loop must not touch forward path P1. Sum of individual loop gain not touching P1. Sum of product of all possible combinations of 2 non-touching loop gains as well as non-touching to the path P1 minus sum of products of all possible combinations of 3 non-touching loop gains provided loops are not touching the forward path P2. Now again, what is touching means? P1 is this path, P1 is this path. So look, this loop, it is touching. Yes, it is touching because this is the path and this loop is touching. How you can generate the touching or not? This loop is having that means this path is having these 2 nodes and loop is having also these 2 nodes. So this loop is touching this forward path. So we cannot consider this as a loop gain. here for delta 1. Okay. Now this is the path. Is this loop L3 touching? Yes, it is touching. This is the path and this is the loop. Is L2 touching? Yes, L2 is touching. Is L4 touching? Yes, L4 is also touching. Look, the L4 loop is here and the path is here, but the path is having this node, and loop L4 is having also this node and this node. So L4, L2, L3, L1, 4 loops are there and 4 loops are touching. So there will be no individual loop gain. This will be 0 for that. That means delta 1 will be 1 minus sum of individual loop gain not touching path 1. Delta 1 means not touching, all these conditions will be there. The loops are touching, 2 loops are non-touching, 3 loops are non-touching, 4 loops are non-touching, individual loop gains, all things will be there. Along with that, extra condition will be there, that if delta is considered, delta is calculated for path number 1, then those loops which will be considered will not touch the path number 1. Okay, so there is no such loop that that doesn't touch path number 1. All the loops touches path number 1, so it will be 0. So delta 1 is 0. What about delta 2? Now delta 2 is again same thing. Instead of path number 1, the loops will not touch path number 2. Which is path number 2? This path is path number 2. Again, L1 is touching. Yes, it is touching. L3 is touching. Yes, it is touching. L3 is having this node, this node, this node, this node, and path is having this node and this node and this node, this node. So this node, these 2 nodes are common for L3 and the path. So it is touching. L4 is touching. Yes, obviously L4 is touching because L4 is consisting of this path. So L4 is also touching. L2 is touching? No, the L2 path, L2 loop is not touching. Only one loop is there which is not touching path P1, P2, sorry, path P2. We are considering delta 2, so path P2 is non-touching to L2 only, because L2 is having these 2 nodes and path L1 is, path P2 is having this path, this node, this node, this node and this node, this node. So this is not there in this path 2. So L2 is the one thing, 1 minus sum of individual loop gain. So only one loop is there, so that will be L2 itself. If there is only one loop, there is no question of having 2 non-touching loops, because there is only one loop that is not touching to forward path. So now I hope you can find the transfer function like this. So P1 will be multiplied with delta 1, P2 will be multiplied with delta 2, and delta will be here. I haven't calculated delta. I hope it is clear to you. So, and again, if there was, let's say there is another path, okay, like this, then there will be another term P3 delta 3. Okay, it will be so on. The number of paths will be equal to the number of terms in numerator. If this path is not there, the forward path, okay, the forward path. If this path is not there, then there will be no term. P1 delta 1, P2 delta 2, P3 delta 3 and so on, where up to Pn delta n, let's say, and Pn is the nth path, nth forward path. We have only 2 forward paths, that's why we stopped here P2 delta 2. And what is delta? Delta is 1 minus sum of all individual loop gains, sum of all individual loop gains. While considering delta, we don't consider path, okay, while considering delta, we don't consider path. So 1 minus sum of all individual loop gains, sum of plus sum of product of all possible combination of 2 non-touching loop gains, then minus sum of products of all possible combinations of 3 non-touching loop gains and so on. And next, what is delta 1? Delta 1 is delta provided the loops which you will consider, whether it is 2 non-touching or 3 non-touching or individual, those loops will not touch the path P1. For delta 2, this will be delta itself, but those loops will not touch the path P2. For delta 3 loops, those loops which will not touch the path delta path number 3. For delta 4, the loops, and for delta I, let's say generalized, delta I will be delta considering those loops which will not touch the path Pi. So this is Mason's-Gen formula, and it seems like too much actually complex to analyze. There is lot more things to analyze, and there is lot more things to memorize, like this formula here. But trust me, this formula is too much easy, because when you are given any kind of questions or any kind of signal flow graph, and you are asked to actually analyze and derive the transfer function, derive the individual transfer function for the whole system, then mainly delta is confined mainly within two non-touching loops. You may often you don't need to even consider three non-touching loops, but if there is three non-touching loops, that's all. There will not be any four non-touching loops. You don't need to consider that, because those kind of things are not there in our questions. In questions like in you can say it in semester examinations or GATE or ESE, there will be no questions considering this much, like four non-touching loops, five non-touching loops. No, up to three. The most of the cases, 90%, you will see only two non-touching loops, and there will be no three non-touching loops. If you consider any combination of three non-touching loops, anyone will touch other. Okay. So this is not actually tough. This is actually pretty easy, and I think the time is over now. So yeah, the time is pretty over. So I will take another lecture for this chapter, and I will discuss signal flow graph, and I will review this concept in the next lecture. Again, I will review the formula, and I will take one or two examples to show you how we can generate. I hope it is clear to you that we can generate the transfer function using this formula, and you also can generate the transfer function from this formula, because it is not that much tough. So I will consider two examples, and I will show the process, and you will see that this is not so much tough as it seems to be. Okay, and again I will not discuss about so much examples or like that. From any textbook or from internet, you need to find some examples for block diagram reduction technique, and for some circuit analysis of block where you can find the transfer function or the physical systems and their interconnections. You can find some questions like that in internet or in any textbook. You solve those questions, and that will be easy. And if you face any doubt, then obviously you can comment on the video, and you can also mail me. In the description box, my mail ID will be mentioned, and in the end of the video, each video, there will be my mail ID will be mentioned there. You can mail me there if you have any doubt, and you need to do the practice here. Otherwise you will face problem when exams come, because block diagram reduction technique, as I said earlier, needs practice, needs actually experience. So what step is to be done first, what step is to be done next, in order to make the thing convenient for ourselves. For signal flow graph, the formula seems to be complex, and those in order to get a command on those formula, you need a bit of practice of different kind of signal flow graphs. And in this lecture series, I cannot solve too much examples, because this lecture series is mainly focusing on the concepts and focusing on the completing of the syllabus, because it will be lot more time consuming for me to solve if it is possible, then I will also upload some problem solving video on this subject, and that will be in separate lecture series. Those problem solving video will not be in here because this lecture series is mainly focused on concepts. Okay, I hope this signal flow graph formula is clear, and in the next video I will take 2 examples and I will show you how to find the transfer function from that signal flow graph. So this much for today's lecture. The time is over now, and I am closing this lecture. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.